The appointment of Professor Ibrahim Gambari as the Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari has brought about seeming power shift in the presidency as well as reviving the culture of democratic governance in the seat of power. Apparently, the innovations that Gambari may introduce in the presidency could prompt the need for overhaul of the governance structure from the State House, Abuja, down the line to the ministers and heads of departments and agencies. This, a presidency source disclosed, may have been precipitating palpable fear among service chiefs, ministers, and heads of MDAs. Investigations revealed that public officers who were playing errand boys for the late Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, than delivering on their jobs may have a hectic time to adjust and deliver. Time may run out on some these principal officers in government as the new regime may be moving fast before such adjustments. The service chiefs heading the various military arms, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force, may have reasons to fret over the new power structure in the presidency. Some whose retirement from the military service but were shielded by the late COS Abba Kyari may have no hiding place or such protection anymore. The probable woes of the service chiefs may be compounded in the remembrance of their undermining the authority of the National Security Advisor (NSA), Babagana Mugono, and were reporting to COS Abba Kyari, boycotting the NSA in relating with President Muhammadu Buhari. The new power structure in the presidency brought about the appointment of Gambari as COS has practically restored the authorities of the NSA in the presidency. It would appear that Professor Gambari does not want to go beyond the powers of his office or usurp the powers of any other principal officer in the presidency as his predecessor, Abba Kyari, did. The new power structure in the presidency profoundly played out on Thursday when President Buhari held a meeting with the service chiefs at the State House, Abuja, restoring conventional protocol in the presidency. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Mugono, stood in to announce the resolutions at the National Security Council and the President's decisions and directives. In the ancient regime of Abba Kyari, the presidential media aides would have written long essays as press release by the president. The return of the NSA to his authority constitutes severe phobia for those who undermined his authority during their romance with late Abba Kyari. The chief of staff, Tukur Buratai, may have been recalling his additional punitive actions against Mugono after the NSA letter to President Buhari against the late COS, hypothetically to please late Abba Kyari. The National Security Council meeting on Thursday was attended by the Vice President, Professor Ñ1Ç, the Minister of Defense, retired Major General Bashar Magashi, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, and so on and so forth. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonisakin, led the service chiefs to the NSC meeting at the State House, Abuja. The service chiefs present at the meeting include the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, the Chief of Naval Staff, Ibo Ekwe Ibas, and Army Chief of Staff was represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, and Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, Yusuf Bichi, were also present at the meeting. Furthermore, there were innuendos that some ministers allegedly bribed their way in the old order to secure the ministerial appointments. However, the ministers that have not performed to the optimum may have reason to be troubled within their souls in the new order. The non-performing ministers and heads of departments and agencies that have not been performing but purported to be hiding under the shield of the late COS may have reasons to be perturbed over likely removal. Invariably, as Miro. Generally, the approval of President Buhari for the implementation of the Oronsaye community reform recommendations constitutes serious threat to several agencies and department heads. The implementation may lead to the extinction of some agencies and departments of the federal government. Ironically, the president's approval for the implementation of the Oronsaye committee recommendation was made after the demise of the former COS. It would appear that there may be no protection of any kind in the implementation of the recommendations under the new order. Well, honestly, in my opinion, I just say it's the way it is, the way I feel about this whole thing. These people that are being mentioned, they have their own sub people who are under them. All of these people that are being mentioned, these are the people enjoying Nigeria, not you and I. Well, unless maybe you are related to one of these politicians. But as far as we are concerned, you just hear all of these people talking, professor this and this, MDAs, this one thing. At the end of the day, to me, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. These guys are just there giving them position, because in the real sense, if really they are working, I see no reason why they will be afraid, or anybody will be afraid, because a lot of things have not been going nowhere. Like I always say, a lot of people are still on the list. They are still on the list, or they are on the waiting list, so that once this set out of the way, they will come in, they will start the normal thing. Those ones are the ones enjoying Nigeria. When you talk about Nigeria, yes, they'll be happy, see protocols, things will just be going smoothly for them. At times I just do wonder, just say, with all of these protocols, with all of these departments we have, with all these people heading one department or the other, at the end of the day, as all of these things, have they really translated good governance to ordinary man on the street? Because with all of these people they have mentioned, if you try to trickle it down to security, you can imagine. There's a video I made concerning how a kidnapper was confessing and explaining how they go about their operation, saying that they are going to resume the operation after COVID-19. Then you now wonder, do we still have a police in this country? Do we have a police officers? Do we have a security people in this country, that these guys are just doing whatever they like? It's just a free fall. Nobody, they are just working, doing their things unhindered. You just be wondering. They will tell you about the economy. They will quote figures. They will quote this. They will tell you these are the things they are doing. But go and check everyday Nigeria. Nothing is happening. As far as we are concerned, nothing is happening. They will tell you about infrastructure. They will tell you how billions of naira they have done. They have budgeted. They will do this. Some people will still go outside the country. They will tell you they went for one meeting or the other. They went for seminar or the other. But at the end of the day, you don't see anything. I don't know whether you guys see anything. I don't understand. Because I always try to digress from all of this protocol normal thing. I don't want to be talking about it, because as the more I talk about them, or talk about what is really happening, because I try to deviate from all of these things, because at the end, the more you talk about them, you just need to ask yourself the pertinent truth or pertinent question, that how are all of these things, how have they transformed to our lives now? Since over 5 years ago, since 2015, they've been talking about diversification. But now you can see that we don't even have because of the way this COVID has been dealing with everybody in the whole world. The only our source of income is oil, and at the end of the day, see what is happening now. We are not able to sell our crude oil the way we ought to, and now that means our reserve is depleting. Rather. No money, and that's why you see that we don't have enough dollars again, because it is when you say you'll be able to get. Now they've been talking about diversification here and there. What have they come out with it? What has come out of the whole thing, if I can still put it that way? They will tell you, oh, ease of doing business. They asked me how many foreign investors have come to this country. They will tell you agriculture, this and that. Go and ask farmers. They will tell you their stories. Those who have invested heavily in farm, go and ask them how they have been going about the whole thing. Forget all these small people that call themselves farmers. We are talking about real farmers, even the local ones. Go to Delta State, they can't even go to farms. Those are the ones. Go and ask these people, Benue State. Go and ask the farmers there whether they will tell you the same story. So in all ramifications, with all this meeting, they summon this, they summon this, they summon all this. At the end of the day, me, I don't see anything. No. Maybe if there's anything you are seeing in your area, let us know. Because this one is just like fry pan to fire. Some people will say, oh, yeah, these things have been there before now. Yes, we know they have been there, but are we supposed to continue like this? With all their plans, ease of doing business, this and that, diversification, we've not been able to diversify anything. And that is why you see that our Naira is depreciating. It's depreciating. We need almost 400 and something Naira to get $1. So what are we talking about? So let's hear what people are saying concerning the matter on ground. Someone say this is nonsense. So it means the chief of staff is now more powerful than the president of Nigeria. What a jaga country. The truth is finally coming out. Buhari not in charge. Rather the COS, an appointee of the president, not the president. Nigeria is a zoo. Of course, they will not even, nobody will want to listen to all of those things. No, that's just the evidence that the person who is supposed to be in charge is not in charge. For those who can think one and one and put one together, everything about this write-up brings another clear evidence that there is no Buhari in Aso Rock. So because a new chief of staff has been appointed, it is now going to be business as usual. Just as Abakari was the de facto president, Professor Gambari is now the new de facto president. A president who cannot call the shots, sack any minister or service chief or any of his appointees is more a presiding president but a puppet president. Someone say this write-up is a shame and great insult to our nation. Does it now mean that chief of staff is now the president of Nigeria? Nigeria must be recovered. When did chief of staff became this so powerful in Nigeria? Trying to remember who served as the COS to OBJ and Yaradua and Jonathan. Of course, I don't even understand. Nobody knew them. Nobody. We were just there, just like that. That's a very big question. During Yaradua, OBJ, and Jonathan, who knows COS? So you are telling us indirectly, telling us that whoever is the chief of staff in Nigeria is the president. Is the office of the chief of staff higher than the SGF, even for vice president? We are even talking of president. We are people are comparing with president. I'm still remembering or talking about the vice president. So that is just the way it is. That is just the way it has been. So guys, let us hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's have your take.